What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking out for the future of this company. I'm also going to break down what happened today. Tesla is down over 12% in one day. That is insane. None of us really saw that coming. We thought this thing would get a nice bounce, and that did not happen. It just got rug pulled and got pushed down and down and down. Market makers, hedge funds, they played their big role, so I'm going to actually break that down for you guys. I'm going to show you what the plan is for these market makers. What on earth are they planning on doing based off what we're seeing in the options chain for the SPY? I'm also going to talk about the earnings coming out, what's going on with Tesla, why Tesla dropped the way it is after what Elon Musk did, and also what's going on with Elon Musk's Twitter page, as he did announce something very huge. And I just want to remind you guys that this company is not dead whatsoever. It's still a monster despite the red we are seeing. Now, before I talk about this, before I talk about what my price prediction is and whether we're going to keep dropping or should we get a nice bounce from here, what technicals are showing, I do have to mention a couple of things before talking about all of this. And the first thing is, I'm not a financial planner, so don't take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. Not only benefits me, but benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull with the link down below and deposit any amount of money, whether that's $1 or $100, it's up to you. You're guaranteed 5 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. Once again, that's free money, and you could always sell those 5 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some Tesla shares for free. Now, this is a limited time offer, so please check it out as it ends in just 2 weeks to get your free Tesla shares. And with that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So, looking at Tesla, in fact, looking at the entire market, we saw so much red left and right. The VIX is just going to the moon right now. And as a result, the SPY is getting hit hard. I mean, if you look at Amazon, the SPY, or Apple, just red is all over the place. The market is just getting hammered right now. And Tesla, as a result, it did not just drop with the market, it got hammered today. There was a lot of selling going on. There was a lot of manipulation, in my opinion, too. And all these things pushed it so hard to the point where it's down over 12% in one day. So let's break this down real quick. So, what happened yesterday was Elon Musk closed the deal. He ended up acquiring Twitter. Almost all, or if not the entire company, is his now, and he does want to bring the company private. So, as a result of him doing this, there was speculation about Musk not being involved in Tesla as much as before because he will be busy kind of dealing with Twitter. On top of that, there was a lot of speculation that Elon Musk could actually sell some of his Tesla shares again to actually make out for all of these liabilities that he may end up having to pay off, right? And also for tax reasons. So I'm just putting it out there that there was a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, a lot of negative news coming out, a lot of FUD articles just attacking Tesla, talking about the fact that the company is down, billions and billions, but that's not necessarily the way I see it. The way I see it is, yeah, it is true that there was a lot of fear. And in my previous video, I told you guys that if this thing did drop, I thought we'd get a bounce off 950. They ended up just hammering it even below that. I mean, it's just pretty insane that this thing hit the $876 range, and now we're seeing something else very interesting. So if I look right here, this is the SPY options chain, and options are essentially just one of the mechanisms used by these market makers to either delta hedge or maybe move stocks. They play a big role in the way stocks move because options are so powerful. And if you look at what's expiring on April 29th, and I know the numbers are kind of small, I can't really make this bigger, but anyways, right now there are 341,000 puts in the money and 464,000 puts out of the money for the SPY. What this means is that the market makers, these big institutions, they're going to try to get as many puts in the money as they can. They want to push them in the money. There's still more puts out of the money, and they do this as a result of their way of making money. So they don't want to delta hedge or cause many big squeezes. So their main mechanism is by shorting companies to the ground, selling them off really hard, and causing a lot of panic. That is their way of making money through these puts. So what's going to happen is this: when we look at the SPY, this tracks the S&P 500. The SPY right now had that double bottom that was forming, and it did look like it was supposed to get a nice bounce. It ended up dropping below the $420 level of support, which is, in my opinion, not a very good sign. Right now, I saw this thing get a bounce off 410, and if it doesn't even hold 410, then 400 does look like it's going to be tested relatively soon. Now, for tomorrow, we have a lot of earnings coming out. I'm sorry, we have some earnings coming out right now. So I want to actually break these down first and talk about what this could actually cause. So Alphabet or Google, they have their earnings right now. And right now, we have the numbers that came out. They missed on earnings per share, $24.62 per share, compared to the expectation of $25.91. They missed on that. Revenue, the revenue should have been 68.11 billion. That was the expected. They ended up getting 68.01 billion. So they barely missed on earnings per share and revenue. They missed on that, which is not the best of signs in my opinion. Looking at Microsoft though, Microsoft did actually have a pretty decent earnings. It wasn't great. They beat the earnings per share by about 3 cents, and then their revenue was up by about 0.29 billion. So they barely, I'm sorry, 0.31 billion. So they barely beat on revenue, they barely beat on their earnings per share. So Microsoft was barely a beat, but Alphabet or Google missed. So as a result, I hate to say this, but it does look like we could get another drop for the SPY. The SPY could keep on dropping based off the fear that's now being instilled in this market. And as a result of the SPY dropping, I don't think the NASDAQ is going to be any different. The NASDAQ could take a hit too. So with that said, the market's looking kind of bearish right now, and it's actually worse than many people have expected. And as a result of that, these factors are going to push down other stocks out there, such as Tesla. Now, the question is, are we going to see Tesla get a nice bounce? And here's my answer to that. Right now, it's next to impossible to calculate exactly where the bounce will be. Now, we could speculate because we do have these support and resistance levels. If it's a little bit hard for you to see, I'm going to actually explain this to you. So I drew out the key levels of support and resistance just around this range. If Tesla gets that bounce off 875, which I'm not too sure about that considering that we're down in the after hours, but if we do, the key resistance is 900. Keep that in your radar. If we break past 900, key resistance will be around that $944 range, I think, 943, around there. If we break that, then 975 will be key resistance. So those are the key resistance levels once we get that balance, which will come eventually in the future. But for tomorrow, I can't promise that. We could keep dropping. If we drop below $875, the next key level of support is around that $850 range, which is right here. I would like to see if that holds us up. Like I said before, it's impossible to give a perfect answer because we are kind of free falling. Kathy Wood said the same thing when she was asked this. When people are panic selling, when there's a lot of panic in the markets, when there's a lot of shorting going on too, they could hammer stocks really hard. I mean, we did not expect Tesla to drop over 12% in one day. That is just crazy. That's not natural. In my opinion, it should have dropped maybe 4 or 5% at the most. We ended up getting 12%. It's just crazy. So anyways, key support 850. I really hope that's going to hold us up. If that doesn't hold us, 835 will be on the radar. And if that doesn't hold us, then 800 is key support. I really hope 800 holds us up because that's a really low level compared to where we are right now. Is it possible for us to drop? Yes. But right now, let's just talk about what the technical analysis is showing us. So going into yesterday, or at least the last few weeks, Tesla was dropping, right? We saw this thing dropping. 975 was holding us up, and it did look like it would hold us up for today. That's not what ended up happening because sometimes the market surprises you. Sometimes events like this happen. So as a result, the technical indicators are now showing a different story. They essentially shifted in one day. So what we're seeing right now, the MACD flips with the 9-day moving average, and we're seeing lots of major red histograms right here. Now, this is an indicator that we're still dropping. We have not got that flip yet, so it seems more probable we're going to see more downside for tomorrow. Now, I also want to talk about this right here. RSI, very, very, very oversold. I mean, the thing is that it doesn't matter too much in this context because we are kind of free falling, but right now, not looking the best right now. It's looking kind of sad to see this happen, but I just want to prepare you guys for that. And right now, the volume that we're seeing, we saw a lot of bearish volume pushing us down the way we did. Look at this massive candle from opening. It was pretty insane and brutal. So unless we get that bounce, that's what we have to be looking out for. So what I think is going to happen is this. I think Tesla's going to keep dropping, and in one of these three lines, I'm not sure if it's going to be 850, 835, or 800. We should get a nice bounce off of that. That doesn't mean we're just going to go skyrocketing all the way up to the all-time high or something. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's where we should get a bounce, and support should start holding us up a lot better, because the lower we drop, the more support we're going to gain. So like I said, I can't make a perfect prediction because it's just free falling right now. It's one of those positions you don't like stocks to be in, but as a result, you can take advantage of this if you want to start trading puts, or if you want to sell covered calls. It's up to you. Just note that covered calls are a little bit more risky. If you don't know what you're doing, stay away from them. But right now, we're not in the best of conditions. Now, what do I predict is going to happen? I cannot give a perfect answer, but just for you guys, because a lot of people keep requesting me to just do it for the sake of doing it, I will tell you what I think could happen. I would not be surprised if Tesla drops again. We get a slight, we see support at 850 trying to hold us, then it gets rejected and it keeps on dropping. Then we hit the 835 range, and I would not be surprised if we actually pushed all the way down to 800, a very key zone. We get a bounce off of that, and we end up closing around that low $800 level. That is very possible. And this is just based off what technical analysis and many other indicators were showing, and also based off the SPY, considering the fact that these market makers want as many of these puts in the money because they're making money off of them. There's still more puts out of the money right now, more puts out of the money. So I would not be surprised if they keep doing what they're doing. So as a result, the SPY does have a gap up here. That's one thing to note. So it is possible for the SPY to get a bit of a relief bounce, maybe in the next few days. I don't know about tomorrow because it still does not look like it's ready for it based off technicals. It could happen, but I just want to be prepared for that. If 410 doesn't hold on the SPY, this thing is probably going to keep dropping. Be prepared for that. Things are not in the best of states. As stated before, Google kind of missed on their earnings, and there was something that could have actually helped us. They missed. Microsoft barely beat them, so maybe it'll cause some relief. So we're just going to have to be patient when waiting for this. Now, like I said before, for Tesla, the long term is still fine. If you're a long term investor, do not be afraid, because I'm still very confident this company is going to bounce back. It may take a while for this thing to drop, but look at what happened recently. Okay, this thing could run up really, really fast. We saw this thing go from 600, what is that, the 500s, all the way up to 1243 in less than like 5 or 6 months. That's insane. This thing also ran from 700 back in March, I'm sorry, at the end of February, all the way up to 1150 in just about a month and a half. It just shows that this company could also soar when the time is right. It doesn't look like we're there just yet. So be patient and don't worry if you're a long term investor. If you're a short term investor, if you like to day trade, if you like to swing trade, if you like to scalp, be prepared, follow your indicators, and I would recommend being very careful when it comes to holding things overnight. I would recommend just getting in and getting out and securing your profits if you can, and also be prepared and be wary of these key resistance levels that I was talking about. Now, anyways, the last thing I want to talk about is what Elon Musk talked about, and is the fact that, yeah, robo taxis are coming, innovation is still continuing, and Tesla is not dropping based off fundamentals. It's dropping based off fear and manipulation and other things like that. So don't lose faith, remain calm, cool, and collected, and just know, if you're patient, if you give it time, we are going to recover. With that out of the way, there are some things that are scaring the market. The Fed may be raising, you know, the federal funds rate by 50 basis points. Sure, but it's not the end of the world, because once it's priced in, the market should get a nice bounce. If you're patient, as Warren Buffett always talks about, being patient is the key to the market. So be patient if you're a long term investor. If you're a short term investor, adjust accordingly and be very careful right now, because the market is in not the best of conditions. Anyways, thank you for listening. Have a great rest of the day. Get ready for tomorrow and remain calm, cool, and collected. With that out of the way, Tesla to the moon, and peace out.